Okay, so as you can see from what you can see now, I think it's not really fair or for the under 18, and also it's not fair on the over 60 as well. I think even for 18 above or so, which is a normal, it's not really fair on them. So like I say, that takes me to another topic which I'm going to speak about. Is called bias, actually. So I'm going to share the screen now. 1 minute.
It was also very hard to draw the results on my laptop, as it's hard to draw with a mouse.
Yeah, I know, but you did very well. Well done. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now we are going to watch this video quickly. Okay.
Machine learning is only as good as the training data you put into it. So it's super important to use high-quality data, and lots of it. But if data is so important, it's worth asking, where does training data come from? Often, computers are collecting training data from people like you and me without any effort on our part. A video streaming service might keep track of what you watch, then it can recognize patterns in that data to recommend what you might want to watch next. Other times, you're directly asked to help, like when a website asks you to spot street signs and photos. You're providing training data to help a machine learn to see, and maybe even one day drive. Medical researchers can use medical images as training data to teach computers how to recognize and diagnose diseases. Machine learning needs hundreds and thousands of images and training direction from a doctor who knows what to look for before it can correctly identify disease. Even with thousands of examples, there can be problems with the computer's predictions. If X-ray data is only collected from men, then the computer's predictions may only work for men. It may not recognize diseases when asked to diagnose the X-ray of a woman. This blind spot in the training data creates something called bias. Bias data favors some things and deprioritizes or excludes others. Depending on how training data is collected, who is doing the collecting, and how the data is fed into the computer, there is a chance that human bias is included in the data. By learning from biased data, the computer may make biased predictions. This can happen whether the people training the computer are aware of it or not. So when you are looking at training data, ask yourself 2 questions. Is this enough data to accurately train a computer? And does this data represent all possible scenarios and users without bias? This is where you, as the human trainer, can play a crucial role. It's up to you to give your machine unbiased data. That means collecting tons of examples, often from lots of different sources. Remember, when you pick and choose data for machine learning, you're actually programming the algorithm using training data instead of code. The data is the code. The better the data you provide, the better the computer will learn.
All right. Who can tell me what that video? Anyone? Anything that you learned from that video about bias? Okay. Okay, Tireni.
Well, from the video, I learned that bias is actually the code. So if you do like a very, very good code, if you do a good bias, then the code will become, the computer will be able to generate a good answer.
Okay, all right. So data is actually the code, right? Based on the number of data that you provide, actually will determine, the correctness of your result anyway. So thank you. Farida, please. Yeah.
What I've learned from the video is I've learned about so something like Tyranny said, like something like the video said, the better your code, the more that your AI can program. And I've learned that if you just like practice coding and how to use the blocks, where to put them to make your script to run. That's how your AI will learn. For example, when we started on the very first lesson, before we started chapter 1 on the AI machine learning, we had to train our AI by teaching him which one was fish and which one was plastic and rubbish, and he took all of that information because of us, because an AI can't just learn by themselves. With like for us, we didn't just learn everything that we know now by ourselves. We used things to help us. That's the same way AI would use it from us, because we didn't just learn that 1 + 1 was 2 by knowing in our head straight away. We learned it because we learned. Same as the AI, our AI learns that what is a fish, what is rubbish, because he learned it. He's taken he's retrieved it from us. He's retrieved it from us to know those facts now.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. Thank you so much for that detailed explanation. I like the fact that you even went back to how we first started this. So we train our artificial intelligence on how to recognize whether that is a plastic or it's a fish. Yeah. So it's based on the number of data that you have, is going to determine whether it's able to kind of identify that pattern correctly. So, well, thank you so much, Farida, for that. Has anyone got any other thing before I will go back? So one thing that we learned today now is bias, okay? And who can tell me what's the meaning of bias in English? English, what's bias? When someone is biased? Sorry?
Bias is that's the code.
Okay, Chiri, I can't hear you properly. Can you speak? Okay, Jordan, Chiri, I'm coming back to you. Jordan.
In English,
Jordan.
bias in English is like.
Oh, you are a bit quiet. I can't hear you. I'm struggling to hear you, Jordan.
What did you say?
Yeah, can you speak a bit louder if that's okay, please?
Okay. So bias. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, that's okay. Let's go ahead anyway. So I can't hear you again.
So in
Okay.
bias in English is like it's just like similar to prejudice party Italy, I think.
Okay. All right. Can I have everyone to type definition of bias on the chat? Okay, let's see who is going to get it. Okay. Just type what bias means to you. Okay. Or have you been biased before? Or has anyone been biased against you? Okay. So let's type it on the chat. What is bias? Okay. I'm going to talk about that in relation to computer now. Okay. What exactly is bias? B-I-A-S. Okay. Tyranny, please.
It means to like go against someone, or like when you're having an argument. Like people might say the referee is biased because they might think the referee might be on the other team. And he might be like, let's say you got fouled, then he might not give the foul to you because he's being biased to be against someone.
Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. So yeah, I think I like that explanation actually. So when you go for sport, you can say, oh, this referee is biased against my team. That means you know that maybe the referee is unfair to you, okay? And yeah, so that's one. Enoch, can you stop that? Okay. Okay, please. I'm going to stop. I'm going to relay that. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, okay. All right. So, okay. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Okay. So the key vocabulary for today is bias. Okay. It means when a decision favors something and deprioritizes or excludes other. So basically, when it doesn't favor other people, but it favors some other people, right? So as you can see in the tabulation that we did, the decision that we had before actually favors the some people. It doesn't favor the over 60 and also the under 18, right? You can see that. So, and the same way, in data that you should supply to the computer can also make the computer to be biased or not, okay? If you provide data that is not complete, then the decision also will be not favorable to some people as well. So you need to know that machine learning, when machine is learning, also there's also bias as well, okay? So it's not, oh, you think machine learning or AI will be kind of complete or will not make mistakes. You would make mistakes because you will also be biased based on the data you supply. Do you get it now? And if you supply data that every day, this happened in the morning, this happened in the morning, every morning, when you come back again to ask for questions, the computer will only be giving you morning. It will not give you evening because it hasn't got that data for evenings or night. Do you get it now? That means it's actually biased. Do you get it now? So that is important for you to know. Okay. Now let's wrap this up right now. Reflection. So if you could offer guidance to this company training machine learning model, what advice would you give to them to help them create useful and unbiased machine learning model? Okay, let's quickly look at that now. So from the model that you did, okay, if you had to give advice to them, what would be your advice? Okay, let's hear from other people. You can type your charts if you want to type, or if anyone wants to, talk. Okay, Farida, what would be your advice?
My advice would be like to give them advice. It honestly depends on what you're teaching them to train. For example, when we did our one, it was fish and rubbish in the ocean. And if I was going to give them advice about hairbrushes, which one are better, like for example, I would not tell my my AI about bad hairbrushes that can break your hair or shed it easily. I would give it advice about great hairbrushes with firm bristles that will make the hair stay, and it won't like just be out of place and going everywhere, or the brush would break and then you can't brush the hair anymore. So I would give it advice about the better things about what you're learning. And as I said, it depends on what you're learning. For example, if I was teaching it about what to buy, I would give it advice to buy the things that are the cheapest, but also have great reviews. Even if they're expensive, but they have great reviews, I would probably not buy it because it's expensive. But if it's in the middle and it has not great reviews, then I wouldn't buy it. It's just what the topic is about and the better things about it.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. So, okay, so now, okay, I'm sharing my screen now just for you to see. 1 minute. So let me stop sharing. One minute, sir. Okay, now as you can see here, okay, so now when we have this particular data, right, and we know it's really biased, what advice do we need to give to this company for them to do better? Okay, training.
For the company, the advice I would first give them is that, like, it can't just be on one particular data. There has to be different datas. And the other one is because, well, they kept changing it. So they changed it the first time because when it said return later over 60, I think it was because of the data they put the data they put for over 60 wouldn't work because but then when it said over 60 priority, I think it's good. At the same time, they need to pick one data for once and for all, so to stop like confusing people at the same time.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that. So it's very, very important for them to know. Okay. Okay. So now, as you can see now, you can also advise them to say that, yeah, I think that data is biased for over 60, because when they over 60 staff, you should not ask them to come back later. Okay. And the same thing for under 18 as well. Issue. I think that is not totally right anyway. So yeah, you can let them know, and so you provide more data for them to be able to see, yeah, majorly the pain, right? The pain, you need to look into that, and also the area of pain where it actually happened is very, very important. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you so much, everyone. So okay, okay, we're going to leave this for you to ponder upon. Okay, how can we evaluate machine learning model once they've been trained? Once you are trained them, so that's the same thing what we've done right now. So we've been able to evaluate the machine learning. Okay, we've been able to train our data. So, and that's what we've been able to do. And now we'll also give advice, okay, on how we can make our data better, so that once your data is better, then the machine learning will provide or predict accurate result more. One thing that I want you guys to take away from here is like, data is very, very important in machine learning. So some people think artificial intelligence is just kind of computer predicting the future. It doesn't predict anything. It predicts based on the data that someone already supplied. If you have a lot of data, then it's able to predict a lot of things. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to take away from today. So which I think is very, very important. Hope you guys have enjoyed this session today. So, and before we leave, any question? Okay, Ian.
Bye.
Do we have homework tomorrow to
Yes.
do?
Yeah, tomorrow you got the BBC to do. Okay, so you're going to do a website like BBC tomorrow, so I can do a demo tomorrow. Okay, Tyranny. Okay, all right. I think that's also. Hopefully, you guys have really enjoyed this session today. Yes, Tyranny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
1 minute.
The
Tyranny.
homework.
Yes. Bye.
The homework for tomorrow.
Guys, can you be quiet, please? Can you be quiet, please, guys? Can you be quiet, please? Thank you. Tyranny, one
Yeah.
question.
The homework for tomorrow. I thought you said last week because it wasn't working. I thought you said you explain it to everyone, so tomorrow it will be in breakout rooms.
Yes, that's right. I said, okay, I'm going to do that, but you can give that a try, okay? So which is fine, but tomorrow I will go through it again, okay? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you so much, everyone. So yeah, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Hope you've enjoyed this today's session. Okay. Thank you so much.